You guys asked for it, that's right. This vase is back. Welcome fellow masters, and today we are actually going to talk about the point that I ended the gacha and gambling video on. If you haven't seen that video, by the way, I highly recommend that you do so. The link for that is going to be in the upper right hand corner or in the links in the description down below. I ended that video on the point that FGO, while being good, can stand to be a bit better to you as a player and friendlier to your wallet. What are those features exactly? Well, let's talk about it. Once again, like last time, this video is sponsored by all of you lovely people. Whether you're subscribed to this channel here on YouTube or signed up as a patron on Patreon, you are a valued member of this community and we highly appreciate your support from the bottom of our hearts. Thank you very much. Now, the major features of the gacha game, aside from the gameplay and the units, is honestly the gacha itself. Rates on a gacha can kill a game depending on how bad it is, and FGO is not particularly kind when it comes to rates on units. There are two features that I'm suggesting that can fix this problem, or at least make it easier. The first one is very simple. Pity system. You've been hearing stuff like this for a while, but FGO is one of the few gacha games that is very successful that does not have a pity system in place to make sure that you're not emptying out your wallets and filing for bankruptcy. But put simply, a pity system is a system that will give the player what they're rolling for after a certain amount of rolls. There are many ways that a game can do this, so it's not necessarily a one-size-fits-all scenario. For example, Arknights, a game that I love very much and I've actually played quite a bit of. In actuality, they have quite a few things going on for them, but their pity system is definitely interesting. So their rates for their SSRs are 2%, which is kind of low, but definitely better than FGO's 1%. After 50 rolls on the banner of your choice, the percentages for an SSR goes up. Each time you don't roll an SSR, after that point, it keeps going up and up and up and up until eventually they have no choice but to give you the server that you're rolling for. 9 times out of 10, you will get what you're getting for before you even get to that point, but that is pretty good. A stacking system, so there is a hard cap ceiling of how much of the in-game currency you're spending, so at the very least, you know, hey, if I get to this point, I'm getting the SSR. Sometimes that is not the specific rate up SSR, but at the very least it puts you in that category, which is a lot better than nothing. The next game was another game that we actually played and tried out on the channel, and that is SINoALICE. I know a lot of people might find this game to be highly boring, but I know for a fact that there are quite a few gurus that actually enjoy this game. Expect to see a video on that in the next coming weeks. So after 150 rolls, you can pick the character job you want from the banner. Since every roll that you do gives you a metal currency, you can actually trade in those metals for the servant that you want, or in this case, the unit that you want. And that is very good. So you know at that point, after 150 rolls, you're getting the servant, or in this case, the character job. Epic 7 is another game that we played on the channel. Nina really loves this one. After 120 rolls of not getting the character, your next roll is guaranteed to be the main character on the banner. So once again, at a certain point, there's a cutoff where you just cannot roll over it. Start to see a pattern, don't you think? After 50 rolls, Arknights keeps going higher and higher. SINoALICE, 150 rolls, and you'll have enough to get the hero that you want. Epic 7, after 120 rolls, you can get the hero that you want. And the funny thing is, FGO already has a system that already kind of does this. Does it do it good? No. No, it doesn't. It's called the USO system, also known as Unregistered Spirit Origin. I can just hear now the normal players and people like myself crying in a pit of despair of never having a USO, while the many whales probably drown in all of the amounts of 2. Essentially, you need to get 5 copies of an SSR, that same SSR, mind you. And on the 6th copy of that SSR, you get 1 USO. So already is a high barrier of entry. You must roll the same SSR 5 times. That's not cheap, especially with the rates as low as they are. But it gets worse. You take these USOs to a specific section in DaVinci shop where you'll be able to buy the SSR that you want. These are all normal servants in a permanent gacha, except for the one that's on the limited banner. However, it costs 10 USOs for one. That's absurd. That means you have to get the same servant 15 times before you even get the choice? At a 1%? What? That's absurd. Honestly, it's telling you that you need to spend an enormous amount of money before you even get the option, the choice of being able to choose a permanent servant from this section. It's not good. It's not effective. It can be redefined. And if you want to hear how you want to redefine it, let me know. But for now, we got other features to talk about. The second feature is going to be one that is straight to the point, and that is pick tickets. GranBlue Fantasy does something like this, actually. They sell these pick tickets during events for around $28, maybe $30, right? Seems like a lot of money. But with that, you'll be able to choose any character available at the time. So these are normal characters as well as the seasonal event character. So in our case, it kind of works like the USO, the permanent gacha servants plus the limited servant on there. Not only that, but it gives you enough to roll a 10 spin after. So imagine that. You sitting here and you're like, man, I really don't want to spend a lot of money on trying to get Scotty. Wait, if I spend $30, I can buy Scotty and get a 10 roll with it. Exactly. That's something that's very easy to do, and I think it will actually earn them a lot of money in the long run, in my opinion, at least as an option. Don't let it be something that can be like there all the time, because I don't believe GranBlue Fantasy allows a sale for this all the time, but at least have it be an option there. The next example goes even further, and you don't even have to spend money, and that's 7 Deadly Sins. 7 Deadly Sins, it's a really good game that I haven't played yet, but kind of interested in. It actually has login bonuses. That on the 7th day of login, you get an SSR ticket to roll for an SSR. Just for logging in and playing some stuff in the game, you get an SSR? Are you kidding me? That's crazy. That's like, you hear that in FGO, I'm pretty sure no one will miss a login bonus. All the people that are crying about their broken login streaks will actually have a reason now. So I'm not sure how exactly that would look in FGO, but I definitely think that they can add something to it. Add something close to this in a system that they already have that could be more friendlier for people so they're not sitting here sinking all their money into Saint Courts. On occasion, FGO has done the pick any 4-star servant, which has been very good, and I've also made videos recommending those. And they also, earlier this year, finally decided to put out a pick your 5-star servant. Granted, you had to go through a couple of hoops of making sure their bond level was 5 and making sure they got to the first level extension at least, but it's a step in the right direction. So I think we are eventually getting to a reality where this is more normalized, but I feel like DW Aniplex can move this a step further in a direction that is consumer friendly for everyone else. The next thing I wanted to talk about is something, again, that FGO seems to be wanting to do. They're a little bit conservative about doing, but it's replayable events. There are a lot of events in FGO, and while not every single one gives a servant, there are a lot of events that have very good grinding spots. Imagine a scenario to where you can actually go back and play Onigashima. Get Rider Kintoki. That's amazing. He's one of the best single target quick servants available, and he's free. And for every new player now, there's no way they can get him. Or how about the Craft Essence, Golden Sumo? That's from Onigashima. There's no way for them to get that now. And that's one of the stable CEs in this game. So imagine a scenario where you can actually go back to those things. We're gonna go back to GranBlue Fantasy because they actually do something like this in their game. They put events that when they're done into the side story section, and people can play these events in this section forever. I've actually picked it up for a little bit just to try it out, especially when they were giving out gacha upon like crazy, and I can go back and play a Love Live event. That's nuts. I don't know how old that event is, but it's there. And you can farm the nodes there. You can empty the event shop and get all the materials that you have. That's good. I really wish FGO had something like that. That would be insane. Another eating is going to be an example that I use, and this is a game that CreedKeeper stands by. It is a single player gacha game, but it offers that all the events they do are not limited. You can actually pick up these events anytime you want. They even had a Persona 5 collaboration event. You can go in there, pick up Joker as a unit. right now. It's very good. I think we could do something like that, and FGO seems to be kind of trying to move in that direction with the main interludes. Main interludes are a new feature where old events with story quests have already been reran in the past are brought back into the game, but only the main quests. You can't do any of the side stuff. You can't do any of the free quests. You can't do the event shop. You can't get the event currency. You can't get the event CE. You can't get this. You can't get that. You can't get this. You kind of get the point. You are only playing the story. And yeah, you do get the welfare. Like, for example, the Seraph event is going to be added to the main interlude in 2 years' time. And you can get BB there, finally. You don't have to roll for summer BB gacha. Sick! But you can't get the CEs with it. You can't farm any of the spots, and you can't even touch the event shop. You actually have to buy this main interlude as well. It's going to be available for everyone for a limited time, but if you're outside of that window, you have to spend 5 rare mana prisms to buy this event. Okay. And for the players who have never, ever received any copies of this event servant, or they only have a few but not all of them, kind of like my Chloe, don't beat me up, they can buy them, again, with rare mana prisms. You need 2 to buy 1 copy. But hey, the players who already got BB and B5 and naturally they don't need anymore will not be able to buy anymore. But that 6th copy that you can at least get 1 rare mana prism for. Isn't that worth it? This is clearly a good start. They are leaning toward events that they want to be able to rerun for people to play, specifically for story reasons, but I think they can go a little bit further. I think they can push the narrative more and allow more of these events to be introduced in this way, and maybe not force people to have to burn their favorite servants or servants that they get spooked with to get rare mana prisms to buy an event to get a supposedly free servant. In a roundabout way, you're spending more money that way. It's really weird. It's a work in progress, but it is positive. So hopefully they can take time to refine that, maybe be less restrictive with it, and this will be a good feature in the future, I believe. The next one is one I've been touting for a while. If you've been in my streams, if you heard me talk or rant in Discord, it's splitting the story gacha. Right now, we have 2 banners that are always active when you go to the summoning page on FGO. It's going to be the friend point gacha and the story gacha. In the beginning, the story gacha was actually kind of nice, you know, it had servants in there, and then you beat Fuyuki, you had a chance to roll for Saber Altar in there, which is essentially nice. But then they made more story events that had more story-like servants that would be locked away in the story banner that you have to roll on, but it takes away from the limited banner, which has the new servants. And then also some other servants, the permanent servants that are always in there. But it doesn't have the story lock servants. So right now you can go to the story banner and yeah, you can get Saber Altar. Yeah, you can get Antonio Salieri. You can get those servants there. But you also can get everyone else. I can get Ushi Wakamaru in there. I love Ushi Wakamaru, but I have MP56 of them, at least. So it doesn't make it lucrative to roll the story banner unless it's memes. So my proposition is just splitting the story banners, and you've seen these banners before. They release them usually before we get into a new event or new chapter in the story. They go through the history, so to speak, and you have your chance to get the raid-up servants on those banners. Instead of making it as a setup for whatever story content you got coming on, and clearly being bait, because that's what it is 100% bait, why don't you just make that a monthly thing? Why don't you, once a month, like 1 week out of the month, you go and rotate through these story banners? Or hey, don't even make it a monthly thing, make it a daily thing. Daily, switch out that story banner gacha, so that way it hones in on those servants. What if I really wanted Saber Altar, a servant I still don't have to this day? I have to try my luck, but hey, maybe I can wait for the Fuyuki story banner day, and I can set up my stream for that, and I can go all in when there's servants I don't really want to roll for. The only servants that I want at this point is going to be Summer BB and MHXX, and after that, I'm not rolling until January. So, as of this point, there's nothing any event can provide that will say, hey, I need to spend my courts on right this second. That I know of. There is always Thanksgiving, but still, This will add another way for people to say, hey, I want to roll on that because it has a specific servant that I want. Funny enough, Another Eden does this. Another Eden has the banner split between limited time raid ups and permanent story character banners. The permanent story banners are divided, so you can choose which section of the characters you want to roll for based on where they're introduced. You can easily do something like that, and that's something that we can introduce into the game fairly soon. I hope we do, but otherwise, story banners is pretty much going to be a meme forever. The last one is going to be gacha based again, but it's going to be probably the one thing that FGO will never do as much as I want it. The fifth feature. Separating craft essences and servants from banners. Please put the phone down. Don't call the crazy police. I think that maybe not all the time, but there should definitely be some times where a craft essence gets their own banner. And then servants get their own banner. Literally split them. Craft essence banner, servant banner. Boom, done. Imagine how awesome that would be. How many times have you been sitting there rolling for a server you want ad nauseum, only to be greeted with a bare minimum, and the goal that you're guaranteed is an SR craft essence? Probably a lot, isn't it? So, what if you change that? What if you had a certain section where craft essences or you can roll for them? What if there was a kaleidoscope raid up? I'm pretty sure there are a lot of people who would roll for that. And then on the other side, you have the servants. Again, what if they had certain servants in there? Maybe put some of the story banner gacha servants in there. Split it so it's only servants and no craft essence whatsoever. Or if you really had to do something, maybe command codes, since those are things that people want to know more about. So that's a cool idea. Or we can take it a step further. Take craft essence out of the gacha forever. That's right. Separate it clean. Put it in the rare mana prism shop or put it in the regular mana prism shop. Let you buy these craft essences like you buy the other things. Imagine that. Kaleidoscope. 1,000 mana prisms. Sick, right? But that doesn't sound like something that a company would actually do, right? No way. How would a company make money on a game like that? Oh, hi, Nintendo. That's right, Nintendo Inside Games actually did this, surprisingly about a year ago. And the biggest part about it, they literally took every single craft essence, in their case, artifacts, out of the main gacha, and they put it in the store. They put it in their events. You can earn these things just by playing the game and using in-game currency. Now when you roll on there, you get dragons and you get your heroes. That's it. I almost said servants. You get dragons and you get heroes. I almost said it again. Funny. Anyway, the point is that's all you get. So regardless, you're always gonna get a good dragon, or you're at least gonna get a good unit, and that's really good. That's so lucrative. Granted, Draglia Lost ends up throwing a lot of things at you anyway. They really want you to roll on their banners, and they really want you to keep playing their game, but that's another issue for another time. I really think separating the craft essences would solve a lot of the salt. That's what I think. I think these features, all of these things, or at least in cooperation with each other, will make the game super friendly for players. None of that really said anything about changing the raid, which of course would make the game friendlier for people, but these sort of things are pretty good. There's a lot of other features that could be added too, or could be suggested that could make the game better. Like, I don't know, making banners easier to get the raid up servant on, like with Arknights, or going ahead and having step-up banners like Danmachi did. So there's a lot of things, and this is where I pass it off to you. What do you guys think could be added to FGO to make the game friendlier to you as a player and friendlier to your wallet? Let me know. Let's talk about it. And as always, if you want to talk more in person, I do stream personally on Twitch on Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, generally between 9 p.m. Eastern to 10 p.m. Eastern, somewhere around there. And the other gurus play on Mondays and Wednesdays, and we generally play a lot of JRPGs some of the time. So if you want to talk to us, come on in, have some fun, and let's talk. And the last thing I want to leave you on is this. There's probably a lot of people out there that are watching this, and you could be agreeing with me, but I'm gonna guess there's a small subset of people that are saying,
hey, FGO's done a lot for us. You're asking for too much. You should be grateful. They've done so much for us.
Okay, let's talk about it. So the next video, we're going to talk about some of the things that FGO actually does that other games should probably pay attention to. You might be surprised some things you see on there. Anyhow, we'll see you then. Until then, my name's Musaki from Chaldea Gurus. We're logging out. See ya.